Okay, mine thing shows that we are on. So welcome to the August 27th, 2025 meeting of the Tennessee Public Charter School Commission. A link to view this meeting has been provided on its website. Before we begin, I will recognize Ashley Thomas, our General Counsel, to provide the statement of necessity. Ashley?
Thank you, Chris. This is Ashley Thomas, General Counsel. This commission meeting is being conducted pursuant to TCA 8-44-108, allowing for a governing body to allow participation by electronic means of communication where a physical quorum is not possible. As commission business requires a decision prior to the regularly scheduled October meeting, the necessity of this special call meeting is for the commission's deliberation and action on items set forth in the August 27th, 2025 agenda. This meeting is being recorded and will be available after its conclusion via link on the commission's website. A call-in number was provided on the commission's website for the public to participate, and a statement of necessity shall be filed with the Secretary of State, again pursuant to TCA 8-44-108.
Thank you, Ashley. As a reminder, all votes during virtual meetings of the commission are taken by a roll call vote. Please identify yourself prior to speaking or making a motion. And for the commission members, if for any reason you can't get my attention, feel free to interrupt orally and let me know, because I'm working on some limitations with my system. Okay, with that, Hayden, will you please take a roll call of the commissioners?
Commissioner Carter.
Present.
Commissioner Griscom.
Here.
Commissioner Lehrman.
Here.
Commissioner Levine.
Here.
Commissioner Patterson.
Here.
Commissioner Eddie Smith. Commissioner Lauren Smith.
Here.
Chair Richards.
Here.
Madam Chair, we have 7 members present. You have a quorum.
Okay, I could not hear Commissioner Eddie Smith. Could you guys all hear him?
No.
I did not hear him.
Yeah.
Chair Richards, I'll give him a call and see if I can get him.
Okay, if you can work on that, that would be great. Okay, today the Tennessee Public Charter School Commission will hear appeals from the Forge School and the Rock Academy. Do we have any questions or comments on the agenda before we move to approve? Okay, hearing none. Is there a motion to the agenda?
So move. Second.
All right, Hayden, please call the roll.
Commissioner Carter.
Approved.
Commissioner Griscom.
Aye.
Commissioner Lehrman.
Here.
Commissioner Levine.
Yes.
Commissioner Patterson.
Yes.
Commissioner Eddie Smith. I'm here. Commissioner Lauren Smith.
Aye.
Chair Richards. Madam Chair.
I
I realize I should have said aye in that we're approving the agenda, so apologize for that.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, I could hear Terrence, Commissioner Patterson, so he is in. Welcome. I still, Commissioner Eddie Smith.
Madam Chair, I don't believe he's on the call yet, but you had your vote, ma'am.
Yes, I.
Okay, you have 7 ayes.
Okay. Well, the minutes of the July 25, 2025 meeting have been approved. Therefore, we will go ahead and proceed with the public comment period. In accordance with Commission Policy 1.
Madam Chair.
Yes, sir.
That was the vote to approve the agenda. We have not approved the July minutes yet.
Oh, I'm sorry. I've gotten ahead of you. Okay. We'll now move to the approval of the minutes. The minutes of the meeting held on July 25th, 2025 have been provided. Does anyone have any edits to make regarding the prior minutes before we proceed?
I move their approval.
Is
Second.
there a second? Thank you. There's a second. All right, Hayden, please take the roll.
Commissioner Carter,
Aye.
Commissioner Griscom,
Aye.
Commissioner Lehrman,
Aye.
Commissioner Levine,
Yes.
Commissioner Patterson,
Yes.
Commissioner Eddie Smith, Commissioner Lauren Smith,
Aye.
Chair Richards.
Aye.
Madam Chair, you have 7 ayes.
Thank you. The ayes have it and the minutes are approved. All right, in accordance with Commission Policy 1.200, we have reserved time for up to 30 minutes of public comments. Hayden, can you please let us know how many written comments were submitted and introduce any individuals who have registered for public comments?
Yes, Madam Chair, we had 169 written comments submitted. Those were posted on the website and included in your commissioner folders on SharePoint. We also had 15 members of the public register for public comment. We'll start with Larry Atima.
Mr. Atima, you are recognized. I cannot hear anyone. Pam, do we have a respondent on this, or do we need to go to the next person?
Let's move on to the next person.
All right, just for everyone's understanding, when we have someone who doesn't respond because this is a virtual meeting, we will move that person to the line once we have completed all of the people who have signed up and try again, because I know folks are dealing with technology. Hayden?
Yes, next we have Elizabeth Buckhannon.
Ms. Buckhammon, you're recognized. Once again, I can't hear anything. Okay, we will move Ms. Buckhannon to the next, come back to.
All right.
Hayden?
Next we have Michael Butler.
Mr. Butler, you're recognized.
I am here.
Great. Please
Good morning,
proceed.
everybody. Do I just go ahead and continue now?
Yes.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. My name is Michael Butler. I am currently a plant manager of an engineering and integration business unit for my parent company called Auto Keneton. I started my career in maintenance and engineering, continued that engineering journey in multiple facets throughout the years, and also worked as a plant manager on the operations side. That said, early on, I knew that I wanted to be an engineer at a young age, and would have loved to have had an opportunity or an option to enroll somewhere like the Ford School and what their structure and curriculum represents. As a parent of school-age children today, I would love to be able to enroll them in a school such as Forge. I feel like early exposure to engineering techniques, construction, architecture, etc., can turn the flicker of curiosity into a long-term relationship with the trade. And to be able to recognize that early on and to carry it on from 6th or 7th grade until graduation, in my opinion, is invaluable. Today, as a hiring manager of multiple trades and engineers, I have firsthand experience of the challenges when it comes to finding skilled associates within these fields. The demand is much higher than what is being supplied to the job market, and that's just a matter of the fact. To help combat the lack of needed talent, as a company, we have developed internal TTP and apprenticeship programs to help supplement and grow our team members. We also partner with local high school and community colleges in Southeast Michigan, where we are headquartered, and elsewhere around other plants and business units. This is something that we would like to do here in Middle Tennessee, and that is where the Ford School can come into play. We can support with our expertise and resources and create a win-win for both entities via education, mentorship, and community collaboration. Thank you.
Thank you. Hayden?
Yes, next, Madam Chair, we have Wood Caldwell. I also neglected to mention, each commenter gets 2 minutes, and I'll be keeping time.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Caldwell, you're recognized. Okay, I don't hear Mr. Caldwell, so we will come back to him. Hayden, what's the next one?
Next, we have Scott Campbell.
Mr. Campbell, you're recognized.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Great.
please proceed.
Good morning. I'm Scott Campbell, Nashville resident, a dad of 3 equally energetic and wildly different boys. I spend my nights and weekends on soccer sidelines and in church pews and at Cub Scout meetings, listening to parents who, like me, are still searching for really great public options here that meet their kids' unique giftings. During the weekdays, I'm humbled to be part of a really amazing team to do something about that need. I serve as the executive director of the Nashville Incubator, an organization funded by local, state, and national partners to support public school innovation and help strong leaders succeed. This fall, 3 incubator-supported and commission-approved schools opened on time, under budget, and nearly fully enrolled. Today, I speak on behalf of 2 additional schools that we are proud to support. We thank Executive Director Stovall for the positive recommendation for the Rock Academy and urge this commission to approve their application. Amid White and Lakita Sims will lead an exceptional school addressing a very specific need here in Nashville. Likewise, the Forge School merits your support. Its innovative model and thoughtful design, led by 2 proven leaders, Sarah Tuttle and Derek Williams, is responding to a demand from industry leaders, our governor, and Nashville families for more career technical education-focused schools. 3 recent updates underscore why the Forge, like the Rock, is ready. First, over the past 3 weeks, the Forge and the Nurses Middle College boards have explored a shared long-term facility solution for both schools and potentially other CTE programs. We're excited to move forward pending approval. Second, in the last 2 months, our incubator team now includes Shelby Goodfriend, Brittany Monda, and Lisa Stone, 3 results-driven charter leaders. And we've strengthened our commitment to ensure high-quality support through the first 3 years of opening. And third, there are no fewer families in Nashville. There are more families exercising choice. Innovative public charter models like the Forge appeal to diverse income levels and consistently meet enrollment targets because they pull families like mine that might otherwise opt out of the public system. These updates are not in the Forge or Rock applications, so I wanted to share them with you directly. I respectfully request approval for both schools and thank you for your service to our state.
Thank you very much. Hayden?
Next, we have Shelby Doyle.
Good morning. My name is Shelby Doyle. I'm a board member for the Forge School and a native Nashvilleian. I appreciate the opportunity to share with you this morning why I hope you will approve the Forge School to open for the children of our city. The last 10 years, my career has been focused on helping parents understand and make use of their school choice options in district, charter, magnet, private, home, education environments. And as a part of this work, I've talked to thousands of parents about what they're looking for in schools. And I've also advised hundreds of schools on how to reach parents and meet their own enrollment targets. One thing I can tell you for certain is that parents want schools like the Forge to open near them. Just this summer, we surveyed a nationally representative group of parents. We found that 74% of them had looked for schools in the last 12 months for a child in their household. But a majority of those parents didn't actually make a change to the school they were hoping for because they cited a lack of local options as a frequent barrier. I can also attest that the Forge team is doing everything that they should be doing to meet their enrollment goals. In just the last 6 months, Derek Williams has tabled in person or hosted at 12 local events in diverse communities around Nashville where he's able to share not just the vision of the Forge, but the values that it will bring to families. I can also vouch for our plan to continue to engage parents who displayed interest and signed up for information, to earn media coverage, to publicize the school more broadly, and to reach parents online when they're searching for schools. We know that that will peak in January. During the winter, that's the enrollment season, and we're well positioned to take advantage of that interest that will spike at that time. I also want to say that the future of Nashville is being shaped by the opportunities that we offer families right now, which is directly what this commission works on. We're grateful for your work, and at the Forge School we build, and we hope that you'll allow us to be part of building that future for Nashville. Thanks for your consideration.
Thank you very much. Hayden?
Next, we have Tamala Ensred.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yep. Please proceed.
Thank you. My name is Tamala Ensrud, and there is nothing like the Forge in Nashville today. I'm loving this opportunity. My child and children like mine deserves a school that recognizes their creativity, and their potential. Too often, traditional schools are rigid with one-way learning conventions. They're focused on pacing and structures that don't leave room for the students who learn best in hands-on and imaginative ways. The Forge is different. It's a school where students are known as individuals, where curiosity and ideas are valued, and where learning connects directly to real life. For families like mine, this isn't just another option, it's the right option. I've watched my child struggle to fit into a system that wasn't designed with his creativity and thinking in mind. Children are bright, creative, they're full of ideas, but their strengths often go unnoticed and untapped. And for some, it's too late in the game. So the Forge offers something else, a model that's personal, challenging, and supportive. It's a place where kids don't just get by, they can thrive. It's not only about school, it's about preparing students for their future. So the Forge is designed to help young people be career ready, to graduate with real skills, with current experiences, and a foundation of confidence that will carry them into adulthood. Imagine middle and high schoolers discovering pathways in architecture, construction, design, and engineering, and realizing early on that those careers are actually in reach. This kind of preparation and two-way learning helps families like mine, and this is what we've been waiting on. This school would bring something bold, something new to our city. That's why I believe the Forge gotta be approved, because every child deserves a place where their potential is unlocked and their future is prepared for, and their creativeness is tapped into. Thank you for listening to me. I appreciate your consideration.
Thank you very much. Hayden?
Next is Lauren Githwa.
Good morning.
Good morning. You're recognized.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Lauren Githua, and I'm a proud supporter of the Forge School. I'm also the proud parent of 3 children, a high schooler and 2 elementary schoolers. My husband is an electrical engineer, so in our family, we know firsthand how powerful a strong foundation in STEM can be. The Forge School represents something our city has never had before, a school dedicated to architecture, construction, and engineering. For parents like me, this is not just another option on the list. It's an opportunity to give my children the edge they need to be successful in college, in their careers, and beyond. As a parent, I don't take the decision of where to send my children lightly. We all want schools that will prepare our kids for the future, not the past. STEM careers are among the fastest growing in Tennessee and across the country, adding thousands of high-paid, high-demand jobs. Yet too often, students graduate without the practical skills and experiences that make them competitive. The Forge School changes that. It'll provide hands-on, real-world learning in fields that drive our economy. And importantly, it is a free public school, giving families like mine access to opportunities that we would not normally receive. If the Forge School was a reality when my high schooler was in 9th grade, it would have given him a chance to explore engineering. For my younger children, and specifically my son, who has already shown an interest in engineering, it's the promise that as they grow, they'll have a place where curiosity and innovation are not just encouraged, but built into the school's foundation. The Forge School is more than just another charter school. It's a bridge between what Nashville students are capable of and the opportunities waiting for them. I urge you all to support its approval so that families like mine can choose a future where our children are prepared to thrive. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hayden?
And next we have Aaron Hughley.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, you're recognized.
Thank you so much for allowing me the time to speak today. My name is Aaron Hughley, and I'm the Director of Education at the Forge Nashville, a nonprofit makerspace facilitating Nashville's makers, artists, and builders with the tools and mentorship they need to succeed. We also have a robust education program that serves all of Nashville, adults and children. I built the education program at the Forge Nashville with a passion and knowledge that if most people have the resources, mentorship, and community that they need, they will not only survive, but thrive. I've been teaching metal shop and wood shop for the better part of 25 years, and I see what a difference it makes in people's lives every day to have access to this knowledge and experience no matter their age. And it is this practical knowledge that I bring to this team. I'm proud to be a partner and board member of the Forge School. At the Forge Nashville, our Future Makers program is focused on teaching durable skills to Nashville's school-aged children. And for the past 3 years, we've created and delivered interdisciplinary, hands-on, project-based curriculum to public, private, and homeschool students. We see a direct correlation between experiencing this learning style and improvement in behavior, attendance, and performance. We know that this form of learning makes a difference in the future and success of our children. Every day, I waitlist interested families for our classes in these durable skills areas unable to meet the demand. We are also a partner of the Academies program at Overton High School focused on MEP, and they're doing great work too, but we know firsthand that they're stretched too thin to meet the demand for their program. All of us who are delivering this type of curriculum, we know it's making a difference in these children's futures, but the demand is greater than our ability to meet it. There are families whose needs are not being met, and the Forge Nashville Future Makers program will be a direct pipeline of enrollment for the Forge School. It takes a village, and we need as many of us working towards this goal as possible, and that is why I'm here today to share my deep belief in the Forge School. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Hayden?
Next, we have Dr. Era Jackson. I do not see her on the attendee list. So we'll move on to Howard Jones Jr. Oh, I'm sorry. I think we've got Era Jackson here. We'll move back to her.
Ms. Jackson? I can't hear her.
I'm sorry, this is Derek Williams. Looks like it appears she doesn't have rights to unmute her mic and unlock her camera or open her camera.
Okay, let's go ahead and go down to Howard Jones Jr., and we will come back to Dr. Jackson once we can get that technology issue resolved.
It's been unmuted. If I can go ahead.
Okay, is this Dr. Jackson?
Yes,
Okay.
Apologies. I'm heading into a training with teachers, so here I am.
No problem. You're recognized. Okay. Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning, commissioners. My name is Dr. Era Jackson. I serve with Seattle Public Schools as the Director of Assessment and Instructional Improvement, where I had the privilege of working closely with Sarah Tuttle, specifically in her work as the founding administrative team at Lincoln High School. I'm honored to speak on her leadership and why I believe she is uniquely prepared to found and lead the Forge School. I first came to know Sarah as a leader about 4 years ago, who is a fierce advocate for her students and families and her surrounding community. Ultimately, I got to know her as a colleague and thought partner who was always willing to go the extra mile to coach new staff, including myself, and share resources with others across the district. At Lincoln High School, Sarah and her colleagues consistently demonstrated the ability to launch complex initiatives, bring diverse voices to the table, and deliver results for their students. Sarah knows how to recruit and hire qualified staff. She understands the complexities of teacher licensure and coaching. She has successfully managed the budgets of a growing school, ensuring both fiscal responsibility and sustainability. She provides coaching and professional development that helps teachers thrive and build systems necessary to track student progress, determine resource allocation, and measure staff and student culture so that year after year, the school she leads with colleagues improves across academics and social emotional outcomes. Sarah's legacy in Seattle Public Schools is that of a thoughtful colleague, supervisor, and member of a community who created a school community that is strong and continues to flourish. Sarah is not afraid to wade into uncomfortable conversations because she listens deeply. to the needs and hopes of educators, families, students, and the community to ensure all students are supported regardless of their place of enrollment. Sarah will work hard to build the community's trust and yours as she embarks on the founding of the Forge School. Commissioners, I can say unequivocally that Sarah Tuttle is the kind of leader who will not only successfully launch the Forge School, but will also sustain it with excellent leadership. Sarah has the courage to take risks, the humility to keep learning, and the persistence to see a vision through. She has the skills, the experience, and most importantly, the heart to do this work on behalf of the students of Tennessee. Thank you.
Thank you. Hayden?
Up next, we have Howard Jones Jr.
Good morning.
Good morning. You're recognized.
Thank you. I'm Dr. Howard Jones, pastor, educator, and community leader here in Nashville. For more than 27 years, I've served our students and families as a teacher and administrator, serving to foster opportunity and belonging through faith and service. This morning, I'm honored to elevate the Forge School, a vision that transcends the idea of a school. It's a launchpad for futures. As Nashville rallies behind innovation, Forge will ensure our students don't just keep pace, they lead. Metro Nashville Public Schools have made notable gains, with 31.9% of students now meeting or exceeding expectations in math, up from 29.3% last year. Yet the reality is that roughly 2/3 of our students are still not reaching basic proficiency in both math and English. One stark statistic: only 19% of Metro Nashville Public School students are considered proficient in math. Meanwhile, the workforce around us signals growing opportunity. In the Nashville metro area, over 11,000 roles are in architecture and engineering fields, with annual salaries averaging around $87,000 per year. Forge will bridge these worlds, will equip students with durable, high-demand skills, problem solving, collaboration, technical literacy, and build pathways towards real jobs and not just test scores. And make no mistake, this is also a matter of equity. More than 50% of some estimates are around, many estimate around 75 to 78% of Metro Nashville Public school students are economically disadvantaged, yet often lack access to inspiring STEM opportunities. Forge will serve them first, ensuring every student sees themselves as a builder, a creator, a leader. It takes a village to raise a child. And this morning, we are that village. Our investment is not just in a building, it's in the futures of Nashville's young people and in the strength of our community. I support the Forge School because it represents more than education. It represents hope. It represents equity and the tangible spark of transformation. So together we can turn this dream into a reality, one student at a time. I ask that you approve the school. Thanks for listening.
Thank you very much. Hayden?
Next, we have Thomas Lowing.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning. You're recognized.
My name's Tom Lowing, and I am at the Belmont University, where I co-chair the Department of Architecture. And I have recently become a board member of the Forge, much because of the leadership abilities demonstrated by Sarah Tuttle and Derek Williams. That gives me great confidence in the Forge. This is especially evident regarding the clarity of their model for educating Nashville youth from the 6th through the 12th grade. They and their colleagues from the incubator team have developed a well-planned and motivational general education program that integrates the professional fields of design, engineering, and construction. I have been leading the architecture department at Belmont University over the past 4 years during the professional program's candidacy for accreditation. And I have seen firsthand how Nashville's NOMA chapter project pipeline, Bridges to Belmont, and local involvement in mentoring programs like ACE have created more pathways into these professions. Nashville has both the demand and the resources to lead the nation in what my professional colleagues in the National Architectural Accreditation Board are advocating for clear pathways and reduce barriers into the profession. Both Belmont's architecture program and the summer project pipeline held in our studios have grown 3 to 4 times faster than projected, despite the fact that the pandemic occurred during the recruitment of our inaugural class that just graduated this last May. In my professional opinion as an architect and an educator, Nashville's educational and professional institutions need the innovative preparation that the Forge is offering in its partnerships with students, their families, and mentors. This is how we can demonstrate dynamic and resilient educational engagement that collaborative design thinking in these professions and many other career paths will require in the 21st century. Thank you for your time and consideration of approving this for the Forge. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hayden?
Next up is Xavier Shackelford.
Thank you. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, you're recognized.
Awesome. I show up today as both a parent, an educator who's worked in Nashville for 8 years, and also someone whose school saved my life. And so there are a couple of points if I follow the sports schools as to people who are not sure whether or not it should open. One thing I'd like to address when it comes to if they'd be able or not to enroll since they're starting with 6th and 9th grade. I've witnessed firsthand where that will not be an issue. I worked at schools, including Nashville Classical, which has been a high-performing charter school in Nashville. I've also worked at KIPP Nashville for several years, as well as partnered with schools like Stratford and East Middle Magnet for coaching in sports, where we saw a lot of our students shift in 6th grade to find better opportunities because the schools that I mentioned did not have them, whether it be academic or athletics. And now with the Forge School offering things like hand-on career experience, it just doesn't exist. Same is true for 9th grade. For example, at Nashville Classical, we don't have a high school. And so something that we work very hard for is to give our kids choice to go wherever they choose to go. And so I think that that wouldn't be an issue. And I think the second thing that I hear a lot of people talk about is we may take money away from public schools. And to that, I would say it's a public school. So that's not necessarily true either. I don't disagree there. But I like to spend the rest of my time talking about how school saved my life and how this may be true as well for the Forge School. Like some of my counterparts have already mentioned, the careers and things that we're talking about are not an issue for affluent communities, but for those that are underserved, it is a big deal. I come from foster care, adoption, abuse, and I've had suicide in my family, right? I have things in my community that many of you may not be able to relate to. And in my 8 years as an educator, I've lost 5 kids, 3 of which who I've had conversations with who wanted to have opportunities in these careers, but it was not real. We have a chance now to save lives, to give them choices that can pull them out of the poverty that I'm mentioning. And so I don't say this to be a sob story or to like jerk feelings, but to just speak to the reality of our city. It's not about selfishness or thinking that we don't have other schools, but it's all about truly giving families choice and kids choices to the futures that we promised them that they could have, not just keeping it in theory. Thank you so much for listening. And I hope that something I share with you resonates enough for you to seriously consider opening the Forge School. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Hayden?
Next, we have Anna Smetana.
Yes, good morning. Can you hear me?
Good morning. You're recognized.
Good morning, commissioners. Thank you. My name is Ana Silvia Remes Smetana. I'm an architect here at EOA Architects in Nashville. I am a proposed member for the board of the Forge School. I'm joining the board because my connection to architecture runs deep. My father was an architect in Mexico, but he passed away when I was just 5. I always imagined following in his footsteps, but the dream of a career felt short and out of reach. Until my high school teachers and mentor right in White House, Tennessee, where I went to high school, showed me what was possible. My art teacher, Miss T, and my incredible teacher, Miss Lee, saw my interest and pushed me to think beyond the classroom. It was Miss Lee who connected me to her daughter, who at the time was a new architecture student at UT Knoxville. Together, they helped me create the portfolio I needed to apply for college. Without their support, without that direct personal connection, I would not be standing here today, and I'm convinced of that. This is why I support the Forge School. It is a place where every teacher will be a Miss T or a Miss Lee. The Forge School's mentorship model will bring together teachers, students, industry partners, and make connections, guide students towards a thriving career. For young minds interested in architecture, engineering, and construction, the Forge School is a direct pipeline to their future. This is the school so many kids in our city need. to be a part of Nashville in a bigger way. It's where they will not only learn about community, but literally help build it from the ground up. My firm, EOA Architects, is proud to be one of the committed industry partners standing with the Ford School, supporting student success alongside its strong leadership to make this mission a reality. I'm asking you to vote yes and bring this school to life. Thank you very much for the opportunity and your consideration.
Thank you very much. Hayden?
Up next, we have Derek Williams.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good
My name is
morning. You're
Derek.
recognized.
Thank you. My name is Derek, and I serve as the Director of Community Partnerships and Operations for the Ford School. But before I introduce myself by title, I want to share why this work matters to me. I grew up knowing the power of schools that believed in their students, and I've seen what happens when that belief isn't there. That's why I joined the Forge team 6 months ago, to help create a school where every student, regardless of their background, can see a real future for themselves. Since then, I've had the privilege of sitting with families in their living rooms, gathering in church halls, and listening in community meetings. We've hosted 12 public gatherings, partnered with local organizations, and visited schools across the city. At every step, we haven't just shared information, we've asked questions and listened closely. Because we believe a school should be built with its community, not just for it. And the response has been inspiring. Despite a shortened timeline, today 405 individuals across 29 Davidson County zip codes have signed on in support of the Forge, up from 352 in our amended application. Among them are 109 rising 6th and 9th graders who have already signed intent to enroll forms for the fall of 2026. With continued outreach, I am confident we will meet and exceed our enrollment goals. Approval of this charter will also unlock our CSP grant and other funding opportunities, which will allow us to strategically grow our leadership team. Our team plans to add an experienced operations leader with charter and CTE expertise, ensuring strong systems, fiscal stewardship, and staffing through industry partnerships and Tennessee's multiple licensure pathways. In addition, we've already seen early momentum. 11 talented individuals have expressed interest in joining our team. Commissioners, this isn't just my request. It's the request from voices of families, students, and community partners who have said clearly that they are ready for the Forge. I'm honored to bring those voices into the room and to ask for your approval to make this school a reality. The Forge is ready, and so is Nashville. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you very much. Hayden?
Madam Chair, that takes us back to the beginning of the list. I believe we're trying to get Mr. Atima's microphone working. So we'll move on to Elizabeth Buckhannon.
Ms. Buckhannon, if you're on, please let us know. Okay, I don't hear anything, Hayden. We had
All right.
one other one.
Yes, Wood Caldwell.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Mr. Caldwell, you're recognized.
Great, thank you. Wood Caldwell, I'm a board member, have been involved with the Forge since the beginning. I'm a graduate civil engineer from Vanderbilt, 7 years of practicing engineering at Gresham & Smith, local architectural and engineering firm here. I am now a principal at Southeast Venture, been involved at Southeast Venture for 40 years. I'm also 15 years as a board member of charter schools, both Liberty and Republic, in which I was a founding board member for those. I just stepped down from Republic about 6 months ago to join the Forge because I feel so strongly about what they're trying to do. When I heard the news that we were not recommended for approval, I was so disappointed to know that 6th and 9th graders that would be attending the Forge will not be given this rare opportunity to attend a CTE school and be exposed to the major disciplines, architecture, construction, and engineering. Those together are so critical. Even as an engineering student at Vanderbilt, I had no exposure to architecture or construction. It was all engineering. But no other school, public or private, offers this opportunity. We have momentum. We have a lot of momentum from the major organizations, the premier professional organizations for developers, engineers, and architects and contractors, with over 1,650 members in the national chapter of NAIOP. and with ACE, another national organization, which has been involved with the schools in promoting architecture, construction, engineering, and give away thousands, tens of thousands of scholarships every year. They're in full support, and those letters should be with y'all. I worked with 2 founding board members, both at Liberty and Republic, both good leaders, but neither has the experience as Sarah Tuttle and Derek Williams. I was so impressed with them when I first met them, because something like this opportunity is a dream. It's all so many people have said, they have spoken so far. This is something that Nashville needs. We're a growing community, and these require of these kind of trades are so important for our continued growth, especially opportunity for kids who don't get exposed to this kind of opportunity. But this is a once in a decade opportunity for Nashville, for its scholars. Please vote in favor. The Forge will make you proud. Thank you.
Thank you. Hayden?
All right, that takes us back to Mr. Larry Atima.
Yes, good morning. Well, we
Good
connected-
morning. You're recognized. We can hear you.
Well, thank you very much. Sorry about the inconvenience earlier.
No problem.
My name is Larry Adama, and I'm the founder and CEO of Commonwealth Development Group, a firm that has specialized for 40 years in representing only owners to help them do unusual and special things. We are not architects, engineers, or contractors, but we manage a whole host of them. And I kind of like to draw a parallel for you. Most of the work that we do starts with an idea that seems impossible. Many of you know that we were the project managers for the Convention Center, Music City Center downtown. In 07 and 08, a group of civic and business leaders proposed the idea of creating a new convention center in a downturn economy. That was very difficult to conceive. But with diligent work and a creative plan, we were able to finance $585 million, create a building that spans 25 acres downtown, has a 19-acre roof, and today has dramatically changed the face of Nashville. Most people thought it wasn't possible. As I draw the parallel from that to the Ford School, there are many, many parallels. It's a bold idea with a very aggressive plan that we think is very doable when we combine the efforts of all the people that are on the board and elsewhere. Forge has a solid plan, a great vision, and experienced and capable leadership, both at the administrative and the board level. I've spoken with construction firms, small, medium, large, including the world's largest contractor, many architectural firms of all sizes and engineering firms. Not one of them have said to me that's a bad idea. They've all said in some form or another, let us know how we can help. Let us know when we can start to participate. Let us know when we can start to mentor. Let us know when we can start to intern and so forth. And so I am quite confident. I'm ready to go to work to support this. And I'd close with a short sentence I just got at 10:16 this morning from an architectural principal in Nashville. Said, I appreciate your willingness to provide some information concerning the Ford School. I hope sincerely it makes it through the commission process. We need more youth to be exposed and hopefully maintain interest in design and construction fields. Thank you kindly.
All right, thank you so much. Hayden, I think that concludes our public comment. Have I got that correct?
We have one more. Elizabeth Buckhannon has been having some technical issues, but believe we've got her on the phone now.
Okay, great.
All right, go ahead, Miss Elizabeth.
Good morning, commissioners. I am a supporter of the Ford School. My name is Elizabeth Buckhannon. And I'm calling in to talk about the Ford School, how important it is as we, the people, make this happen for those individuals who desire the school, to go to school, and to do it right away. As a grandparent, the Forge is different. It's not just an idea on paper, it's a complete model rooted in community, designed with families in mind and ready to serve students today. This school has been shaped by people who know Nashville, who understand our city's children, and who have listened carefully to parents and grandparents like me. They're not recycling the same old solutions. They are building something bold, something responsive, and something that reflects the real needs of families. And what excites me most is the opportunity the Forge gives our students. Approving this school means urgency. It means opening doors for rising 6th and 9th graders, especially those who have a love for building, for design, for architecture, construction, and engineering. Imagine the power of a middle or high school where students can discover those passions early, where they are challenged, supported, and inspired to dream bigger than a test score. This is about giving young people a chance to see themselves in careers, in futures that too often feel out of reach. And it's about showing families that when they ask for options, their voices are heard. The Ford School is ready. Our students are ready. And as a grandparent, I am asking you to approve this school, not tomorrow, not years from now, but now, because our children and grandchildren cannot afford to keep waiting. Thank you for listening to me. I appreciate your consideration. And again, I ask that you approve this school. We are to train up our children in the way that they should go. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Buchanan. I'm glad we were able to get you in on this conversation. And with that, Hayden, I think we've completed the public comment, if I've got that right.
Yes, Chair, that's correct.
Okay, well, we appreciate the patience and comments of all of the people who participated in public comment. It's a little hard to do this in a virtual meeting, but I'm glad we were able to get all that input and everyone had a chance to speak and for us to hear those comments. Commissioners, as we begin these appeals, I want to briefly recognize Executive Directors Tess Stovall and General Counsel Ashley Thomas for some remarks on the appeal process and our statutory charge.
Thank you, Chair Richards. So as these are our first New Start appeals of our cycle, with the remaining being heard at our October meeting, I wanted to take this opportunity to have our General Counsel, Ashley Thomas, ground this discussion in our statutory charge and to remind you what can be considered when you all discuss these appeals. So Ashley.
This is Ashley Thomas, General Counsel. Thank you, Chair Richards and Executive Director Stovall. As Tess stated, as we move into this first New Start appeal cycle, we want to refresh the Commission on your statutory charge and the parameters when you're hearing appeals. TCA 49-13-108 names that the Commission shall conduct, quote, a de novo on the record review of the proposed public charter schools application, end quote, in addition to holding a public meeting after receiving an appeal. Further, statute does list two elements in the Commission's charge for approval of a charter school application. First, the Commission is required to find that the application as presented in the record meets or exceeds the metrics outlined in the Department of Education's application scoring rubric. Secondly, approval of the application must be in the best interest of the students, LEA, or community. The Commission is required to find that both elements of the statutory charge are met before they can approve the application. To facilitate the de novo on the record review of a New Start appeal, Commission staff adheres to the process named in Commission Rule 1185-01-01-.01. Within the 75 days leading up to the Commission's deliberation and decision, Commission staff has conducted a capacity interview with the proposed governing board, held a public hearing in the geographic LEA where the sponsor proposes to locate, and asked questions of both the LEA as well as the sponsor. Commission staff also received public comment to demonstrate community support or demand. Those items, in addition to the Commission Review Committee report, the Executive Director recommendation, and the limited public comment heard today, constitute the entirety of the appellate record. The appellate record is the totality of what should be considered in the Commission's decision on each appeal. Any information received by or provided to commissioners outside of items gathered in accordance with law and rule cannot be considered in the Commission's decision. Further, a decision by the Commission should be based on the application in the record only. We understand that circumstances change and evolve as the New Start process occurs over the course of many months, and the staff does work diligently to ensure that the record presented to the Commission reflects the most accurate representation of the proposed public charter school. Additionally, TCA 4913-108 also explicitly states in subpart E that an authorizer shall not base the authorizer's approval of a public charter school application on conditions or contingencies. This means an approval by the Commission in the appeals you hear today and in the future must be based on the amended application as presented in the record, that it meets or exceeds the standard, and that it is in the best interest of the students, LEA, or community today. In other words, it's ready to open in August 2026 as presented. An approval based on anything outside of those two elements in the statutory charge would be outside of the Commission's authority. An approval based on items outside of that de novo on the record review of the application would be improper. And lastly, while the Commission does include as part of our process the ability for a representative from each party to respond to the recommendation, there is no ability for the Commission to engage with either party during this meeting or any future meeting. Commissioners can ask questions of staff regarding the recommendation and any materials in the record. And with that, Chair Richards, I will turn it back over to you for the first appeal.
Thank you so much. The first appeal we will hear today is from the Forge School. In accordance with Commission Policy 2000, a representative of each party to the appeal has the opportunity to submit a written statement or be recognized for up to 2 minutes in advance of the Commission's discussion on the appeal. Hayden, can you please read any statements received and introduce any representatives who are here today?
Yes, Chair. First, on behalf of Metro Nashville Public Schools, we have Sharika Roby Grant.
Thank you. Ms. Grant, you're recognized.
Good morning, Commission members. My name is Sharika Roby Grant, the Executive Director of Charter Schools for Metro Nashville Public Schools. I thank you for the opportunity to speak before you today and respectfully urge you to uphold MNPS's decision, as well as the recommendation of the Executive Director of the Commission to deny the Forge Schools New Start amended application. As presented by MNPS, the school's academic plan lacked innovation and failed to distinguish itself from existing MNPS career and technical education programs, and evidence of community and parental support continued to be missing in the application. Operationally, the school's leadership lacked the necessary project management experience, and the transportation plan provided was unrealistic given the geographic scope of the Forge's intended student population. Financially, the absence of qualified fiscal oversight in the school's formative years raised serious concerns about its ability to be financially sound. With these noted concerns in academics, operations, and financials, MNPS found that the application simply did not meet the standard for approval. This rating was further supported by the Tennessee Public Charter Commission review team and included in the Executive Director of the Commission's recommendation to deny the amended application for the Forge. We ask that you stand with MNPS and the Executive Director's recommendation in denying the New Start amended application for the Forge. Upholding this denial is not a rejection of innovation. It is reaffirming our shared responsibility to ensure that every new school is truly prepared to serve all students in Davidson County well. Thank you so much for your thoughtful consideration.
Thank you so much. Hayden, do we have another statement or representative?
Yes, on behalf of the Forge School, we have Sarah Tuttle.
Thank
Good morning,
you.
Commissioners.
Ms. Tuttle, you're recognized.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Sarah Tuttle, and I'm the proposed Executive Director of the Forge School. I want to thank Executive Director Stovall and the Review Committee for their thoughtful analysis. While I respectfully push back on the conclusion that our plans fall short, I also see this as a process and an opportunity to learn. The Forge is a response to a real and growing need. Our current disaggregated data shows 109 Davidson County rising 6th and 9th graders have signed interest to enroll forms, and 53 education, industry, and community partners have pledged support. Families are asking for meaningful career pathways, and industry leaders are asking for a pipeline of skilled professionals, and the Forge is ready to meet this need for Nashville. I left my role as MNPS's Director of Social Emotional Learning, serving 87,000 students, because I believed Nashville's kids deserve more. Since then, I've listened to industry leaders, studied the best school models in the country, and immersed myself in Tennessee's CTE framework, trainings, and certifications to prepare to lead and hire for this work. I've built strong relationships and assembled an exceptional board of leaders to walk alongside us. The application before you is original, innovative, complex, and the first of its kind in Tennessee. It's imperfect, as all bold ideas are, but deeply grounded in research and readiness. I don't claim to have every answer, but I do have a proven track record of collaborative leadership and building excellent programs, and I know the Forge will be an extraordinary school for Nashville. If approved today, I commit to working in collaboration with the Commission to take up their feedback, including scaling back to open with a 6th grade and adjusting our budget and staffing accordingly. Please approve the Forge School for the, as of today, 405 Davidson County families who have said yes, the 53 partners ready to act, and the students who deserve a school built for their future. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We will now move on to a presentation from Executive Director Tess Stovall regarding the Forge School. Tess, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chair Richards. As we have discussed, the first appeal before us today is for the Forge School, which is proposing to locate in the McGavock area of Metro Nashville Public Schools. As was stated, the application was denied by the Metro Nashville Public School Board in June of 2025. And based on the Commission's process that was outlined by the Commission's General Counsel, I determined that the application as presented in the record did not rise to the level to meet or exceed the standards as outlined in the state scoring rubric. And therefore, a denial of the application by the district was not contrary to the best interests of the students in the LEA or the community. In the case of the Forge amended application, both the Review Committee for Metro Nashville Public Schools and the Commission's Review Committee rated all 3 sections of the application as partially meeting the standard. I agree with the Commission's Review Committee after my full review of the record that the application did not provide sufficient evidence across the 3 main sections to warrant a recommendation of approval at this time. I do want to commend the applicant and the sponsor for the proposing a school that would meet a need within the Nashville workforce. There is clear industry interest in this type of school. However, beyond industry interest in this type of school, when I looked at the academic plan and design, I determined that there was a lack of sufficient detail to demonstrate that there was a strong likelihood of fidelity of implementation, strong core academic content delivery, and long-term feasibility based on what was presented in the record. First, I believe that the school's enrollment projections are a concern. As presented in the application, the plan is to open with 2 grades, 6th and 9th, with a projected enrollment of 240 students in year one. Additionally, the application states that in order to remain sustainable, it has to achieve an annual enrollment rate of 95%. We know, based on our experience opening schools, that oftentimes schools in their first couple of years are not meeting their initial enrollment targets, and that it takes several years to stabilize. While the applicant did clarify that they could operate on a 90% enrollment to maintain financial viability, I still find this rate to be a significant challenge for the school, and not meeting enrollment projections begins to cascade around sustainability and financial viability for the school. We ask in the capacity interview and in the public hearing about clear contingency plans should enrollment not be met. However, there were very few specifics provided other than cutting non-essential staff. Coupled with the enrollment projection, the recruitment plan lacks clarity. So within the application, there is description and a target of the McGavitt cluster, including why the McGavitt cluster needs additional high quality schools and an evaluation of the utilization of schools within the McGavitt cluster. However, in the capacity interview and the public hearing, the sponsor focused on a much broader citywide recruitment strategy. And while I acknowledge that all charter schools are open to all residents within a district, there was a lack of clarity exactly how and where the recruitment for students would be targeted. I ask in the public hearing for disaggregated data on the number of signatures for support that were collected from families of children in 9th and 6th grade, as those were the targeted grades. At the public hearing, the sponsor stated that they had not disaggregated the data. In today's public comment was the first time that we had received the information regarding any disaggregated data for incoming 6th and 9th graders. Additionally, it is unclear how many of those students will actually turn into enrollments if the school were to be approved. And while I understand it is difficult to translate interest into enrollment, there were several missed opportunities by the applicant in the amended application, in the capacity interview, and in the public hearing to provide and demonstrate evidence of reasonableness of enrollment projections and sufficient parent demand to meet those enrollment projections. Another area of concern for me revolves around the balance between the career and technical education and core academic content. The proposed schedule allocates a minimum amount of time for English language and math, which are core content areas. And I found that there was a lack of a sufficient plan for how core content teachers would be trained and supported to effectively integrate the key CTE concepts that the sponsor says that the school will provide. Additionally, I was concerned that this plan for special populations was underdeveloped, and there was conflicting information provided both in the application as well as in the capacity interview. For example, the school's schedule places pull-out services for these students during the Forge Forum, but it was also stated that this advisory block was an integral part of the school's culture and curriculum. As we move into the operational section, I have concerns about the ability of the lean leadership staff to implement with fidelity the entirety of the academic and operational plan. Specifically, the executive director was tasked with managing special education and English learner programs in the initial years, as well as when we get into the operations section, was tasked with significant responsibilities around operational and financial implementation. I do note in my recommendation that the governing board is a clear asset for the school particularly with the industry expertise that is on the board. However, I am concerned about the current leadership and their knowledge of the CTE model that they propose and the current ability to implement that strongly and with quality. It should be noted that there is currently no identified leader on staff that has CTE experience. When pressed regarding who would implement the academic plan, the response was that the principals who would be hired by the school would implement the CTE model. I was concerned when I reviewed the job descriptions within the application itself, and there was no requirement within those job descriptions that the principals have any experience either within industry or within the CTE model that the school is proposing. Given the fact that the school's model is solely based on a unique CTE type of program, it is unclear who within the staff will be able to ensure that it gets implemented with fidelity. The plan for recruiting and supporting highly specialized pathway instructors is a significant concern. We know that there is a nationwide shortage for high quality teachers. This, along with enrollment, is the primary challenge that any New Start school faces when trying to open. So the school's plan, since they are planning to open it with 2 grades, would require hiring 15 licensed teachers in the first year, including those with highly specialized CTE licenses. When pressed about a recruitment plan, both in the interview as well as the public hearing, there were very few additional details provided to demonstrate that they could overcome this tremendous challenge that the school will face if approved. I also noted concerns around operational functions as well as the identified facility plan. The tenant improvement costs that were described within the application come to $1.3 million over the first 3 years, with a reliance on philanthropy to fill those gaps. The application noted that there are additional expenses that the school will have to allocate because of the need for CTE equipment with the model. The long-term lease costs are projected to scale significantly, with an estimated annual cost of $1.8 million once the facility is built out. The cost of the facility plus the added cost of the CTE equipment put an additional strain on an already tight budget that is reliant on a strong enrollment and significant philanthropy. I also was concerned about the reliance on third-party and external vendors when it came to financial expertise. As was noted, the school does not plan to hire a finance director until year 3. When asked who would handle the day-to-day finances on the staff, the executive director stated that it would be within their responsibility. However, within the application, these responsibilities were split across 2 different positions. Neither of those positions were required to have any financial expertise. Within the capacity interview, many of the deeper financial questions were answered by the external third-party vendor. Given the proposed budget of the school and the significant reliance on philanthropy to fill the budget, I have significant concerns about the internal capacity in order to manage the finances of the school, work closely with the third-party vendor, and ensure that there's long-term sustainability of the school. As noted, the budget projects a need of $1.95 million in philanthropy over 5 years, with approximately $1 million needed in year 1. Much of this funding remains unsecured, which creates a long-term risk for the school. And again, when asked for contingency plans, there were very few clear contingency plans noted. The compounding issues around a high enrollment for year 1 and needing to sustain that enrollment year over year, as well as the significant reliance on philanthropy, coupled with the high cost of the CTE programs, leads me to believe that the financial plan as presented is not ready for approval. I appreciate the passion and the dedication of the community and the Forge team. However, it is my responsibility to assess the record as we have it today and determine, do I believe that this school is, as presented, meeting the standard of the rubric, and that approval is in the best interest of the students, the LEA, and the community. And while I hope that this type of school has the opportunity to open in the future, it is my belief that there are too many fundamental gaps within the application in order to merit approval today. Therefore, it is my recommendation that the commission affirm the decision of Metro Nashville Public Schools to deny the amended application for the Forge School. And with that, Chair Richards, I will turn it over to the commission for deliberation and any questions.
Thank you, Director Stovall. In order to have some process to these questions and comments, I'm going to go around the commission ranks and call on people. If you have questions for Tess, please ask those, and then also include your comments or thoughts, anything you want to include in the discussions. If after you've spoken, you have additional comments, please either indicate by waving on the video or use the hand raise on the comments section of this app, or just interrupt as we go down the line, and I will recognize people and try to move us through this so everyone can have a full opportunity to be heard. With that, I'm going to start by recognizing Commissioner Griscom.
Thank you, Chair Richards. I had the opportunity to come to Nashville to hear the public meetings for both the Forge and the Rock, and we'll talk about the Rock later. But I was glad I did it because two interesting models, as Tessa said, particularly the Forge, a different approach. So I was glad to be in the room that day. And on my own, I've done a little more research. So for those listening, it is my own work. And if I missed something, I will apologize. But I want to get a feel for, in this case, what does Metro Nashville offer in terms of career technical education? In Chattanooga, where I live, we have Future Ready Institutes that are spread across our schools that prepare students for career opportunities. So what I looked at in my own search was that the 12 high schools in Nashville have, I think, 32 overall programs in some technical area. They also have similar relationships with a lot of the partners that the Forge has talked about. I was glad to see that. So it means that both Metro and the proponents of the Forge are reaching out and connecting with the same groups of people. I also found it interesting, as Tess has laid out, I'm not going to go through everything she said, for opportunities to be a little clearer. For example, the things that stood out to me is that if in fact there is a shortfall in the financial side, that the areas that would be postponed or delayed included principals for the 6th grade piece and the 9th grade piece. And what was said at the time is that those two principals will be the ones that come in with CTE experience. And if those are delayed, then that also gets delayed of having leaders in these schools who understand this type of an approach. I too found the enrollment numbers interesting. I've been here 6 years. It's been interesting to watch projected enrollment numbers. As Tess said, many times they miss the target and you sort of worry and make sure they can get up there because those numbers really do impact their financial viability. And in this case, as Tess laid out, there was a set of numbers, what needed to be met, and then if not, then some of these reductions will be made, including outsourcing programs to the Forge Nashville. I went on the Forge Nashville's website. I'm glad we had the director with us today to speak, to learn more about the Forge Nashville and what they do. And, again, most of the programs at the Forge Nashville have some kind of a cost associated with them. And I'm not sure, did not know that at the time. So I have no idea how that added cost for programs identified, like for homeschoolers and others, would be covered. I would not imagine it would be passed along to parents who are there. Job training we know is important. Providing skills, the governor has committed a lot of time, energy, and resources. Having been on the Board of Regents for almost 12 years, the technical colleges really are first rate and are a shining example of the commitment this governor has made. And so I hope we see more of that. But my concern here is opportunities to, for example, talk about, if you can't do 6 and 9, it was there. I was waiting to see if they said, well, we might just start one of them and then build up. That was not the answer that was provided at the hearing. We've heard a little bit about that this morning. I too would hope that this opportunity, the people behind this, interest in this, will continue working on it. But I have to be in a position today to support the recommendation of our executive director. Thank you, Chair Richards.
Thank you, Commissioner Griscom. Commissioner Carter?
Madam Chair, thank you. Let me first of all start off by saying to the representatives of Forge, there's a great appreciation for the work and the effort that you put forth in terms of trying to look at establishing a real need in terms of having a program that's really focused on career and technical education. And as a co-founder of a charter school that's been around for 20 years from Detroit, my heart goes out to what you've done thus far, particularly in terms of again the number of collaborative partners that you brought into this process. As I've shared in other future commission meetings, one of the things that you have to have appreciation for and understand is this is not minor leagues in what we do. And from a fiduciary standpoint, this is a tough one. And I don't want to talk forever today, but I want to cut to the chase and say, this is major leagues. And it's tough work. It's heavy lifting. So at the end of the day, we need to have folks that in fact have been there, done that, and got, T-shirt to show for it. And so to that end, I in fact have taken the time to go twice now, almost 2.5 times, to look at the capacity interviews. As a co-founder of a school, one of the things that I think is critical is that it starts with leadership. And I know my start in our charter school 20 years ago, the amount of time, effort, and capital it takes to look at putting together a charter school, it is not easy. It's not for the meek and the mild. And so when all is said and done, when you come down to making a decision, and this is a really important decision, and my heart goes out to all you folks for what you're doing. I look at the challenge of, again, the issue of having, again, people who have been there, done that, have a T-shirt to show for it. In terms of having the experience, you've got a wonderful board and you're pulling together great people to continue to be on board. But what I saw, particularly in terms of, again, these capacity interviews, is I just saw, again, team not really being ready to look at moving forward, even, with school not opening until next year. We really don't have, again, people who have that CTE experience. And the financial component piece is still maybe not in place. So there's a real degree of uncertainty, just like what we're facing now economically, nationally, that causes me to pause. And as much as I really want to say, look, appreciate the passion. This is major leagues.
And we've got to have, again, some degree of assurance as commissioners that you really can play. And so like Tom, you're there, you're close to being there, but are you there now to say, let's move forward? At the end of the day, making a decision, I don't think so. It's not a matter of need. We know that there's a need. We know that you potentially can fulfill it. But leadership's everything. It is everything. I know the capital, I know the time and effort that I personally have had to look at putting forward to support my charter school. It ain't easy. And I know it's not easy for you. My view, there's a need to shore up some of these areas around, again, academics regarding finances, okay, as well as, again, the issue of operations. Just don't think, unfortunately, from a challenging standpoint, you folks are ready at this particular juncture. But great appreciation for, again, the team that you've assembled thus far. A little more work I think that you have to do. I'd love to see you folks come back. Madam Chair.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Carter. Next, Commissioner Lemon. Thomas, I can't see you, so you're going to have to just let me know.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, so you're recognized.
Oh.
Thank you.
Okay. I think one of the points that was brought to my attention apparently is that there has been some philanthropic support that's come in, I think, since the record was established for the application. And frankly, that was just of interest to me. I think I've taken note of Michael's points, which I thought were well put. But it does sound like some additional support has come forward to address at least some of the concerns around financial support. I don't know whether, Tess, you've looked at that or whether you have any comments on that.
Thank you for the question. With the record being closed, we have not considered any additional information that would have come outside of the record. We know and have experienced in the past that philanthropy is ongoing. People are continuing to seek out ongoing. I think what still remains for me is the concerns around financial capabilities within the internal team, as well as the enrollment targets and meeting those enrollment targets, even with an addition of a financial grant that may have come in recently.
And to the extent that that the appeal is not granted, what is the posture of the commission for reconsidering it at a future time? How does that work?
I'm happy to answer that. So we have had applicants apply in subsequent years, so they can take our feedback and go through the process again. We hold no deference to previous opinions and would take a clean slate and clean view of the application. And we have had schools approved once they come back around the next time around and have made improvements.
And the next time for that would be 1 year from now, or what's the timeline?
That's correct. So this is the conclusion of the cycle, and then the new cycle would begin with the letter of intent as of early December.
Okay. Are you looking for anything else from me, or just questions, or are you actually looking for a point of view at this point?
If you have any questions or any comments, just
Yeah,
whatever.
no, I think that
about.
was the comment that I just wanted to make sure that I was raising. I think the one other point that I thought was interesting is I believe in the legislation, it does give us authority to authorize charters for shorter durations now. And I'm not sure whether that was something that was considered in this context, meaning for 5 years. Perhaps I misunderstood the effect of the law. Tess, do you have a comment on that?
This is Ashley, General Counsel. The new legislation, Commissioner Laramie, that you're referring to references renewal appeals that would not be applicable to the appeals you're hearing today.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you. Appreciate the clarification. That's it for me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Levine?
Yeah, couple of things. I'll start with a perspective. You know, we just started I won't call it a charter school because it's not. It's called Ballard Health Academy. It was created with a grant from Bloomberg, and it's a form of a CTE where we're working alongside the school systems to identify kids in middle school and get them enrolled in our academy. And when they enroll, they'll get real hands-on experience in healthcare professions. We're targeting right now nursing, but it's expandable to multiple other career paths. And the goal is for these kids to graduate high school with a certificate and be able to practice nursing right out of high school. And the reason this is hitting home for me is this is a very similar approach where there's an attempt to accelerate a pathway for other professions that would otherwise have to wait until they get to college point before they can really be exposed and immersed in these professions. And so it rings true to me when I hear people from the architecture firms and engineers who say, we need this pathway. And the lessons I've learned, we set an enrollment target of 100 students for the first cohort, and we enrolled 200. And we just started our first cohort in Ballard Health Academy. Now, to be fair, this is, again, not a charter school, and we don't have to meet the rubric of the state from the perspective that's in the statute. But there's a lot of things we're learning as we implement this. And the thing I really believe in, I know that when we started down this process, we were very conservative in terms of making sure schools met the rubric, and we checked all the boxes, and we did that because we wanted to make sure that we didn't want to have early failure. We wanted to have a strong start. We wanted to make sure that the schools that we approved had a pathway to success. And so I'm speaking only for myself. I was very risk averse when we were going through this at the beginning. And as we've gone on and gotten more experience, one of the things I've learned from my own experience is that innovation is not easy. It's hard to implement these things. There's no doubt about it. But innovation is by definition, you're doing things that are fairly new and untested, and there could be some failure, but there also can be some enormous success. And I think Tess, the director, did a very thorough job in her analysis. And I want to vote for this. I want to find a way to vote for this and allow them to keep going forward to begin their implementation under the watchful eye of our very capable executive director and her staff, as opposed to delaying and having a whole year go by when the students aren't being given the opportunity to experience this particular very innovative approach to a pathway program. So I guess what I'd like to know is there a pathway? Is there a way to allow them to continue to progress without having to start over? I'm saying that in the form of a question. I will say that the very thorough analysis makes it hard to vote for this. If we're really going by the absolute language of what's in their application, and not thinking about more creatively, innovatively about, is there a path that allows this particular type of innovative approach to go forward and not lose time while they address these issues? That's a question. I'm sorry. I should
have. Ashley Thomas, do you want to address that?
This is Ashley Thomas. I can address Commissioner Levine's question. I will say once again, as commissioners, you are charged with two elements, right? Does the application meet or exceed the department's scoring rubric? And is it in the best interest of the student's LEA or community to approve the application? The review committee report and Executive Director Stovall's recommendation are just those recommendations. As we know, you all are not bound by that. If your review of the application, you feel that it meets or exceeds the standard, and you believe that it is in the best interest to approve the application, you can vote to approve that application. I guess I will stop there unless you have other questions.
I'm sorry. I just want to make sure I'm clear on the word "and." So we have to, in order to vote for this, we have to find that it meets the rubric in statute or in the Department of Education, and that we find that it's in the best interest. So if the finding in our executive report is that it does not meet the rubric, then Part B doesn't apply, correct? Even if we find that it's in the best interest to move it forward.
That is correct. Your charge is that both elements have to be met. So you need to find that the application meets or exceeds the standard from the Department of Education, and you need to find that it is in the best interest. But again, like I said, Executive Director's recommendation, the commission, of course, as we stated, is not bound by that, but that reflects her analysis of that application.
Got it. Oh, by the way, if I do not agree with the executive director on this particular issue, please understand, I have never not agreed with Tess. Okay. But it is not a statement about my confidence in her or the staff. It's just it's a unique issue that I'm feeling pretty I feel pretty enthusiastic about new innovative ideas, even if there's work to be done. So, but anyway, I'm looking forward to hearing what the rest of the commission thinks before I make a final decision.
Okay, thank you very much. We appreciate it. You may be one of the few who hasn't, aside from our newer members, who hasn't agreed with Tess at some point in time or another on one of these. So we understand the difficulty that poses to a commissioner, because we all have the highest regard for Tess. With that, I'm going to request that Commissioner Patterson weigh in on any questions or thoughts.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I do have maybe four buckets of comments, and I'll start by saying I always give great deference to my fellow commissioners that are in closest proximity to the schools and the students that we're serving. So it has been very helpful to hear Commissioner Carter's feedback, Commissioner Lehrman, and looking forward to hearing from Commissioner Lauren Smith. Though, Eddie, I do enjoy hearing from you as well. And so with that start, I also want to make a point of note that I'm grateful that our former chair was able to listen and observe in person, because I also take great weight, Chair Griscom, to your feedback and insight. So very helpful. And I say that because I also hope that commissioners give that same level of thoughtfulness and weight to commissioners who are in great proximity, as I've been in this position with issues related to Memphis and Shelby County. So I wanted to start there. Second, I do want to acknowledge the diligence that the review committee has put forth in their evaluation of the recommendation and the rubric, and that obviously includes the thoughtfulness of our executive director as well. I think I then fall, if I look at my third and fourth bucket of comments, I am weighing most heavily, on the one hand, the questions around the leadership in the context of this model, and then the enrollment challenges faced with opening a school with the 6th grade and the 9th grade as the starting points. I think my decision would have been made much easier if there had been one starting point, albeit 6th grade or 9th grade, though I do understand the challenges that come with opening a high school in particular. And I weigh those two issues with, I think, what Commissioner Levine has said, this need and importance for us to give great weight to innovation. And this is certainly an innovative model, and a model that, by all accounts, there is a need for in this market. And so I'm weighing the leadership concerns and the enrollment concerns with the two benefits that I see: the benefit of innovation and also the benefit of the need in the market. And so I also am really torn at this moment. Again, I'm looking forward to hearing all of the commissioners' feedback as well, but I did want to at least share my my thoughts in context for my vote. So thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Patterson. Next, we'll go to Commissioner Lauren Smith, and I'm sure you've all figured out I'm doing this alphabetically. So Commissioner Eddie Smith, because he's ahead on the alphabet.
Legal name to make me go last, you know.
No. Thank you.
All right, so here's going back to Alan's point. I want to work backwards. Is this in the best interest of the students? Yes, it is. So let's go. I think we all could agree that a school like this is in the best interest of the students. So let's take that one off the table. Then we go to what we have to look at is, does this at least meet or exceed the expectations? So I want to drill in on some things some discrepancies and tests. I'm going to ask some questions around that because I did listen to the interview. I've looked through your report. Let's start with the financial planning capacity. In your report on page 5, you state that the financial plan was considered unsustainable due to its heavy reliance on philanthropic funding and the limited financial capacity of the leadership team. The budget projects 1.95 million, with at least 1 million needed by year 1. I know that there were some statements made a minute ago that the first time that we've heard about some of the secured funding has been in this call, but let's look at page 8, because in the capacity interview, they stated that 65% of that money had been raised. So if 65% has been raised, that means they've got years 0, 1, and 2 already secured, which in my mind moves their financial plan from partially meets to actually is meeting the expectations because it is financially becoming stable. Now, I agree with you all that there's some issues around maybe the enrollment that could be out there. But when I look at the biggest concern kind of highlighted, which is the philanthropic, I don't see the concern because anybody that's in this world, if you came with 3 years of philanthropic funding, Alan is going to start building a building up at Ballad Health. Anybody's going to start because you've got 3 years of that funding secured. So I am going to disagree that I think the financial plan, at least based on everything that I've been able to look at, I think meets the standard. So Tess, am I reading that correctly? That they stated, as you have on page 8, that they do have 65% of that 1.95 million secured.
So that is a correct statement, and I'm going to have Beth, because she was the lead on the review committee, provide any additional commentary on that. I think what we are naming as a concern is both the ongoing philanthropy that is necessary, the heavy reliance on the philanthropy to ensure the stability of the school, coupled with the need for high enrollment, because they named that the CTE model is expensive. They are going to have to purchase CTE equipment and have a building. Their building costs are significantly higher because of the need of the CTE equipment. And so it is the compounding of the issues that leads us to have concerns about their long-term viability. But Beth, please add on any additional thoughts that I missed there.
Absolutely. I would agree with everything that Tess shared. And then just for the understanding from an ongoing financial sustainability. So as you mentioned, Commissioner Smith, we have the 1.3 million that's been raised, which gets them through year 0 through 2. And then the ongoing need would be 250,000 each year thereafter per their financial plan.
Okay, and again, just thinking through philanthropic, based on what we've heard, I don't have any concern on that 250,000 for years 3, 4, 5, 6 on down the road. Now, I do start to wonder with you all, can they raise the funds? Now, they've already secured 65% without having just going through this process for covering all of that. So that leads me to think, okay, they're not going to have much, especially considering the great need within the community for this program, that they will be able to raise those funds for the equipment. So again, I look at it from a different lens from having done fundraising now for, 6 to 10 years, just with a different lens of what I think their capacity is, especially given that they're in the Metro Nashville area. So again, I will just say that I believe that their financial plan at least meets. Now, when it comes to the academic plan, here's where I start struggling. And it's this concept. When I look at it on page 5 of TESA's, another concern was the balance between career and technical education and core academics. I think what we have to realize is when you start talking about CTE and highlighting how we want to prepare students for what we'll call workforce readiness, not necessarily post-secondary education, as most of the rubric really kind of looks at is, are they post-secondary ready? Are they ready for life? And that's something that we discussed a lot around our mission and as we were thinking through our mission of what we wanted to be as a commission looking at this. The problem that I think we have, and I want to defend Metro Nashville here. I know everybody in Metro Nashville may fall over here, but I want to defend Metro Nashville is I think our rubric is way too square that we're trying to shove innovation into something so small. It's not necessarily saying, how is this so innovative and thinking outside of the box that it could be viable and possible? So I think that that's something that we're going to have a discussion with the State Board of Education on is how can that rubric be a little bit more amenable to allow that type of innovation where we haven't seen this before? So I don't think that we have to worry about, does every single student understand the Pythagorean theory versus can they weld? Can they do the things that, and get those high paying jobs? You teach a welder. I mean, I can remember the TCATs in Tennessee, some down around Chattanooga, the students who were going through the welding program were being hired out, especially if they could do underwater welding, making 6 figures out of the welding program before they even graduated. So there are some great jobs out there if we can get students prepared for that. So that's what I don't think that the rubric takes into account that we see happening through our TCATs. So I am back and forth on the academic plan just based on looking at, no, it doesn't necessarily meet the rubric as we define it today, but I think there's a lot of things in there that are outside of the box. Now, the operations plan, this is where I will agree with our staff. I don't think it's there yet. So I come down on 1.5 meets and 1.5 partially meets. So I am teetering on the edge of, I think that this is a unique enough thing that we could move it forward, not because Metro Nashville did anything wrong. I think Metro Nashville did everything according to how we've got things set up now. But I think we even need to look at, okay, can we work with Metro Nashville and the state board and some of our other schools to look at? This was an issue that came up with the nursing college that we did a couple of months ago with in partnership with Vanderbilt. We're going to continue to see these innovative approaches that don't fit into nice square holes for all of our districts. So how can we empower them to look at that innovation? So that's where I could go either way on this one. I will always defer to, again, because I can get there on the financial plan. I can partially get there on the academic. I think the operations will come, and it is in the best interest. I could very easily move with giving this school the opportunity, not again because Metro Nashville did anything wrong or saying, we're just wanting to override Metro Nashville, but based on those factors. But I also give great deference to, the fact that there were some things not clearly answered when we watched the capacity interview. So that's my thoughts. And as I've gone through the record and looked at it, obviously you all can tell I've read through everything. So, because I just gave you all a very long-winded explanation. So with that, I will now kick it back over to you, Chair Richards, so that we can hear from the other Smith that's actually better to listen to than this one.
Okay. Thank you very much. Commissioner Lauren Smith, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chair Richards. Yeah, I think we've all been pretty torn on this one. It's there's a lot to consider. I also had the opportunity to attend the hearing, and I just want to thank everyone who attended that and everyone on the call now who's on both sides of this. It's there's a lot of really helpful information to consider here, and I'll kind of speak to the positives first. I think that Nashville needs a school like this. I think we need more innovative models, especially in middle and upper grades. So really excited to see this. I think the board and partners that are part of this, I think it's a very strong group who have come around the Forge. And I believe that the leadership is really strong here. So I'm excited to see that. I agree with Eddie that the fundraising actually looks pretty strong to me at this point. I know they have a long way to go, but that's not something I feel concerned about right now. I think the things I'm concerned about have already been spoken about. Enrollment does feel quite ambitious. The staffing model, given just how hard it is to hire any teachers, but especially that we need quite a few specialized teachers here, that concerns me. And then the current lack of CTE expertise and charter management experience internally does concern me. That being said, I do, as Commissioner Carter spoke to, it all kind of comes back to leadership to me. And I do think that we have a really strong team here, a really strong board who will ensure that that this feedback is heard, that our concerns are heard, and that tweaks are made as needed before the school opens. And I believe that if that means they may decide to delay a year or to tweak the grade levels that they open or their staffing model, it's my understanding that they're open to that. So with that being said, I do have some concerns, but with the I do want to vote to support this application with the understanding that the team will hear our feedback and concerns and work really closely with the commission to ensure that our concerns are met here and that they can open successfully. So with that, I'll turn it back to you, Chair Richards. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now it's my turn. Couple things. We cannot conditionally approve this school. We either approve it absolutely or we don't approve it. While we can encourage our executive director and the staff to work to help them open in the event we would approve it for a charter, we can't make this conditional. And I just want to be really clear on that because that is not in our legal authority. We also have to go on the record as it was put forth. And I have to say, while I am very impressed with the support this school has, I was personally disappointed at the absence of willingness to address the concerns that were raised with respect to enrollment and financial capabilities and the ability to hire staff with the CTE credentials and the starting grades and the difficulty that poses after they realized what the executive director's recommendation was. There were multiple opportunities for this group to address those things and for us to have a record that would be more supportive of where they want to go. This is very close to my heart. I have a nephew who had an opportunity to do a CTE program in high school in architecture, and he is a successful architect in Lexington, Kentucky, and I am always grateful, forever grateful to the opportunity he was given. But that being said, there are significant deficiencies in this application, particularly in the operations and academic areas, the way I see it. The plan that they have that was presented to deal with special education students and English as English learners is virtually non-existent. And this is an area where we have seen schools struggle, and with an innovative model, it is even more important that they have concrete thinking about how they're going to have an opportunity that can be made available to all students, regardless of their status and needs. On the financial end and operations end, my bigger concern was not so much as their ability to raise the additional money through philanthropy, but the lack of attention to someone on the staff who has financial expertise and ability to handle the finances day to day. This was added to the duties of the executive director, which, you know, she has special ed, she has English as a second language, she has all of the things that she talked about as the executive director, and the day-to-day financial operations. And my concern is one of the biggest areas where schools get into trouble is when they don't have adequate financial internal controls. And they find they may raise a lot of money, but then they find they haven't had controls in place to make sure it's appropriately handled. So looking at our charge, I find that this doesn't meet the requirements with respect to the rubric on both the operations and the academics. So I am inclined to uphold the recommendation of our executive director, and that's where I am. So I am going to open this up. Is there anyone else who wants to make a comment or ask a question before we ask for a motion and a vote?
Okay. Madam Chair?
Yes, sir.
I realize with a motion, could be a motion one way or the other, and then there'll be discussion on the motion. Do you want to have debate first, or do you want to wait until there's a motion?
I think we need to go ahead and make the motion, and then we have the debate.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, then I'll make a motion.
Okay. To be clear, do you want to frame it or I'll frame it for you? The motion would be to adopt the resolution to uphold the denial of the Forge Schools application.
Somebody else might want to make that motion.
Okay.
Because I'm on the other side of it.
Okay. No, that's why I thought I'd better frame this for you.
I'll make it for you, Chris. I'll do
Okay,
it.
thank you. We have a motion made. Is there a second?
I'll second it, Madam
Okay.
Chair.
Motion made and second. Okay, we will open it for discussion. Commissioner Levine, I think you might want to start, so I'll let you start.
Yeah, I will. And let me start by saying I don't think I could possibly have more respect for someone than I do for Tess. And her job is to tell us as she sees it, and for us to make the decision about, you know, what we think based on our own independent judgment. I'm stuck on this idea that we get ourselves into a box, and if we get ourselves into a box without recognizing that sometimes startups do have challenges, and this is a startup, it's a new idea, and startups come with some risk and some difficulty. I believe that while imperfect, I believe that for sure this is in the best interest of the students that would have an interest in this pathway. And I believe it's good for the community to have this as an option. I'm convinced that looking at the board and the support that this school would have, they're not going to let it fail. I recognize some may have a perspective that, look, we can only act on what's on paper in front of us, but I don't want to get myself stuck in that box. I feel like we've been at this long enough. Look, some of the schools that pass the rubric and we check all the boxes, some of those schools don't do that well. And, you know, so that's not an end all as to whether or not a school can be successful or will be. I think a passion for these types of professions, for CTE, the fact that at the very top levels of our state, people want to see this type of approach succeed. And so I'm gonna vote no on this. It's the first time I've ever voted against the recommendation of our extremely capable director, and I certainly don't feel comfortable not being on the same side as my friend Tom and our chair. But on this particular one, I feel like I'm willing to take this chance.
Okay. Other comments?
Madam Chair, this is Michael Carter.
Yes, sir.
Again, I want to appeal to the Forge group to say, don't give up. Just don't give up. There is a need, and we're in a box right now. I think you've heard almost universally from all the commissioners that there's a need that we think you have the capacity to fulfill. I just want to reinstate, as I said, as I looked at those virtual calls, of the capacity interviews, as well as, and again, I was there when we had the public forum. There's just a need to look at the leadership group being, again, much more, again, cohesive. When we had Sarah and Derek, truly you have the passion and you have an experience, but not the kind of experience at this juncture, along with, again, issues maybe dealing with operations and, again, bringing people who, as I said, who have the t-shirt to show for having developed, again, CT curriculum and have that experience. Nobody had that. And if you look at the interview, capacity interviews, there was, again, well, who's going to answer this question? Well, and there was a hesitation. That can't happen again. There really needs to be a seamless, again, collaboration among the leadership, that we know what we're doing, we know where we're going, and we've got our act together. So don't give up. That's my plea to you. Don't give up. We're locked in a box. We either approve or we don't approve, again, what's in front of us right now, and which is unfortunate, but don't give up. Madam Chair.
Thank you. Are there other comments or discussion?
Chris,
Yes, sir. Commissioner Griscom?
I want to say to all my other commissioners, we've been here. We approved Nurses Middle College as an example of going down this path. I'm right where Alan is. I think it's important to offer this kind of training to provide for those who decide, I may not go on and get a college degree. I'm going to go ahead and get the training I need, get a certificate, and go to work. That's important. So we've been here before. My concern, as I've shared, having sat in that meeting and hoping, wishing that some of the questions that Tess offered would have been answered there rather than after the fact.
Fair.
A realization that, yeah, I think it goes to Commissioner Carter's point. That's a leadership question. That's a realization saying, we want to get this started. Like Commissioner Levine said, we want to get it started, and we might step up a little bit. But I sat there and asked myself, what would I be doing today if on that question about 6 and 9, the answer had been, yeah, that maybe is a little too aggressive to hit that number. Maybe we ought to start here first. And then we're going to add that back in. Once we've got our feet on the ground, we got the team in place, we know what we're doing. And that's the reason I'm where I am. I did say earlier, I hope they continue this. I hope they bring it back as quick as they can, because this model would work with a little more put together that shows. And it's not, Eddie, to your point, I'm with you. The rubric is what it is, but I don't make a lot of my evaluations either just based off that square box with three things in it. So I just remind all of us, as a commission, we've been here before on issues like this with nurses, and we'll be here again. So we have been innovative. And when we are, though, we make sure that we've got schools that are stood up and ready to go, and we know they're going to be successful. Thank you.
Thank you. Other discussion or comments? Okay, I don't hear anything else. I think we've talked about this at great length. Let's go ahead and move forward with a vote and see where we are. We are now voting on the Ford School appeal, and this is a vote to adopt the resolution of the recommendation of the executive director to uphold the denial of the Ford School. Does everybody understand that?
So a yes vote
Is to support the denial.
Okay, got it.
A no vote is to overturn the denial. Does that get it?
Yep.
Okay. With that, Hayden, will you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Carter,
Yes vote.
Commissioner Griscom,
Yes.
Commissioner Lehrman,
Yes.
Commissioner Levine,
No.
Commissioner Patterson,
Yes.
Commissioner Eddie Smith,
No.
Commissioner Lauren Smith,
No.
Chair Richards.
Yes.
Madam Chair, you have 5 ayes, 3 noes.
Okay. With that, the resolution is approved and the decision of the executive director is upheld, and the denial will stand. Okay. I do want to say, and I agree with everyone who said, I hope we see this back. I hope we see it back in a form where we can all enthusiastically support it with a high confidence level of its ultimate success. This has got a great board, a lot of community support, and as I said, it is very close to my heart because I have personally, and as a had a family member who benefited for something kind of like this. But that being said, we need to move on. We have a second appeal that we will hear today from the Rock Academy. Hayden, can you please read any statements received and introduce any representatives who are here today?
Yes, first on behalf of Metro Nashville Schools, again, is Sharika Roby Grant.
Good afternoon, commission members. My name is Sharika Roby Grant, the Executive Director of Charter Schools for Metro Nashville Public Schools. I thank you again for the opportunity to speak before you today and respectfully urge you to uphold MNPS's decision, reject the Executive Director's recommendation, and deny the Rock Academy's New Start amended application. As noted by MNPS, the academic planning, operational readiness, and financial stability had major concerns. Academically, the school lacked a targeted recruitment strategy essential for reaching at-risk youth. Operationally, its transportation plan was insufficient and its safety protocols were vague, both of which are vital for serving vulnerable students across Davidson County. Financially, while the Rock claimed to have raised $1.25 million, this reliance on contingency planning does not substitute for a sound, sustainable financial foundation. MNPS recognizes the importance of serving disengaged youth. The Rock Academy's application, as it stands, does not provide that assurance. I would like to address the statement included in the Executive Director's report regarding the MNPS Simon Youth Program serving only 1% of MNPS's population. Please note that the Simon Youth Program can serve any student that needs it, and the currently enrolled students should not be seen as a cap, but rather the number of students currently benefiting from this particular placement. Furthermore, the Rock Academy is only proposing to serve a total of 333 students, which is less than 1% of the MNPS population. Essentially, the existing MNPS schools can and do serve the population that the Rock Academy is targeting. We ask that you stand with MNPS, reject the Executive Director's recommendation, and deny the amended New Start application for the Rock. Upholding this denial is not a rejection of innovation. It is reaffirming our shared responsibility to ensure that every new school is truly prepared to serve all students in Davidson County well without duplicating services and supports. Thank you for your thoughtful consideration.
Thank you. Hayden, do we have another either written statement or someone who wants to make an oral statement?
Yes, on behalf of the Rock Academy, we have Ahmed White.
Mr. White, you're recognized.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I am Dr. Hamid White, and thank you for the opportunity to speak today. First, I want to extend my deepest gratitude to Executive Director Tess Stovall and her team for their careful review and recommendation of the Rock Academy. We are honored by the time, the diligence, and the expertise that has gone into evaluating our application. Today, I stand before you on behalf of our students, the families, and our community to respectfully ask for you to support and a yes vote for the Rock Academy. This school is not just another option, it's a lifeline for students who are too often overlooked or left behind. If approved, the Rock Academy will become the first opportunity charter school in the state of Tennessee, and we are humbled to step into this historic role. Our mission is to re-engage disconnected youth, provide them with a sense of belonging, and prepare them for the bright futures through mentorship, workforce readiness, and personalized learning. We look forward to a true partnership with the state and paving the way for young people to dream again and to see that their dreams are not only possible, but worth pursuing. Together, we can create a model of hope and opportunity that changes lives. On behalf of our team, our families, the community, those on this Zoom, those are supporting us around the country, and all of our partners, we want to again thank Executive Director Stovall and your team for your positive recommendation, and thank you, Commission, for your consideration. I respectfully ask for a vote of yes for the Rock Academy. Thank you.
Thank you. We will now proceed to a presentation from Executive Director Tess Stovall regarding the Rock Academy. Tess, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chair Richards. So the second appeal for discussion today, as we've noted, is the Rock Academy. It's proposing to locate within Metro Nashville. The Metro Nashville Board of Education denied the Rock Academy's amended application in June of 2025. Based on the process of the commission, which we outlined earlier, I determined the application does meet or exceed the state scoring rubric, and that approving the application would be in the best interest of students, the LEA, and the community. I want to take a moment as I begin my presentation to discuss that the concept of an opportunity charter school, which the Rock is proposing to be, is new to Tennessee. It is intended to provide more targeted charter school options for students who are defined as at risk. These schools will be required to serve a very specific student population, such as those students who have been previously retained, are chronically absent, or are currently in foster care. So given that this is a new type of school, any sponsor that is approved to open this type of school will be a trailblazer. And also, there is an inherent risk involved with any authorizer that would be willing to agree to approving such an application. However, we also understand that that level of risk should not hinder our evaluation of any type of application that is proposing an opportunity charter school. We found that the Rock presented a clear and innovative mission and a high-quality academic program that focuses on re-engaging disconnected youth. Within the application and throughout the appeals process, the Rock Academy clearly articulated a sound academic plan that specifically intends to focus on students who are chronically absent. While MNPS focused on their existing programs in the review, the Rock Academy founder noted during the public hearing that these alternative learning centers are not currently an option for the population that they propose to serve, which is 9th grade students who are chronically absent. The Rock is specifically designed for individuals to give them a sense of belonging, flexibility in their learning, and relevance through clear aligned pathways. The proposed model is a combination of the Modern Classroom Project, one-on-one mentorship, a later start time, and a holistic support system to address student needs. The school plans to start with a small targeted enrollment of 88 students in 9th grade, which will allow them to focus on providing adequate support and maintaining the integrity of the model as the school opens and grows. We found that this proposed start plan was a significant strength for the school. The application includes over 75 letters of support and established partnerships with community organizations who directly work with these type of students, as well as the Nashville area juvenile court system. These relationships will be crucial in recruiting and identifying these at-risk youth. We appreciated that the model is comprehensive, that combines various supports as well as cohesive to the tailored population. When specifically asked about the academic model within the capacity interview and the public hearing, the ROC provided significant detail about their academic plan, how it would be operated within the day, how teachers would be supported in the model. Additionally, we found that the operations plan was very strong. First, they have an extremely knowledgeable and engaged and experienced governing board. They have a strong facility plan and a very experienced executive director who has worked directly with the targeted student population. Within the capacity interview, the governing board answered very specific questions about the school's finances, oversight of the school, and the management of the school leader, and what strong implementation looked like. The proposed executive director has a proven track record of working directly with disengaged youth, and both the board and the executive director demonstrated a deep understanding of the proposed model and its unique challenges, both in the capacity interview and the public hearing. They have a clear and proactive facility plan with a top contender already identified. We discussed at length the transportation plan because, as we know, students who are disengaged and who are chronically absent, transportation can be a top barrier to students getting to school. The applicant provided detailed and thoughtful response regarding transportation, including information about their thought processes around developing of routes, the ability to add a third bus should they be needed, and that the facility is directly in front of a city bus stop and plan to support students attending school through those variety of options. As I stated, this plan to start with a single grade gives the school an ability to focus their recruitment efforts in year one, as well as to build a strong foundation of students and teachers to operationally scale year over year. One place that the committee and I really dug into was the financial plan. Within the application, the financial plan is stated that the school is an expensive model. They are similarly reliant on philanthropic grants to be sustainable. This is given the additional needs in terms of staffing and wraparound supports for this type of at-risk student. We found that the budget is realistic and it aligns with the school's staffing and programmatic details. We were particularly impressed by the deep conversation that we had in the capacity interview and in the public hearing regarding the school's finances with the governing board and the school leader. The governing board demonstrated a deep understanding of the school funding formula within the state and how student enrollment could change what the funding looks like year over year. Additionally, they outlined clear contingency plans should funding not materialize. We were also impressed with the financial experience on the governing board, as well as having a director of development whose primary responsibility on staff will be to maintain the development of philanthropic funds. Additionally, they have an individual on staff who will be responsible for the day-to-day operations of the finances, and that individual has experience previously doing similar work in another school. In totality, although we recognize that any opportunity school, as they're approved, is a risk given it is a new model in the state, we believe that the application presented a robust and thoughtful plan that I think is poised to be successful to be the first opportunity charter school in the state. It would provide a high-quality option for students in Nashville, who I think we can all agree are not currently well served by the current options. And while, as I noted, approving this type of school model is a risk, I appreciate the thoroughness of the plan, the preparation of the leadership, and the detail that they provided throughout this process to demonstrate not only confidence in their school model, but confidence in their ability to recruit the population of students they need for the model and to weather the challenges while opening. And so it is based on that totality of evidence that I found in the record that it is my recommendation to approve the Rock Academy. And I will turn it over to Chair Richards.
Thank you. We're going to handle this the same way as the last appeal and go around with an opportunity for you to ask Tess any questions and also have any conversation you want to have. Then we will go ahead and make a motion and have discussion. So with that, I will start with Commissioner Griscom.
Thank you, Chair Richards. This was the other opportunity I had when I came to Nashville to listen to the presentation of the Rock. I also want to call out my fellow commissioner, Terrence Patterson, who helped me better understand and gave me some sites to look at to really appreciate this model and what an opportunity school really is and why it can really make a difference. So Terrence, thank you, because I spent the time and it was very helpful. I learned a lot from this presentation. And I came away from this session with the feeling that we know from some of our other schools that we deal with the chronically absentee issue a lot. And we try and struggle, as our schools do too, how you go about working on it, fixing it. And we'll see what the Rock is able to do. I hope they're successful. But they looked at the fact that in Metro, there's 6,500 students in their target area that they're going after. And that of that, more than a third of them are chronically absent. And there was a question raised about having later start times. Well, this could be disruptive. But then when you listen to what Dr. White and his team laid out, that one of the reasons for some of these absenteeisms is that these kids are doing more at home in the morning. And all of a sudden they realize I'm late and they decide not to go to school. So that's the reason we're starting a little bit later to see if that really helps with that. On the issue of transportation, this school is going to be close to bus lines and things like that, and they're prepared if they have to need to put other buses in, that they would look at that and do that. But the other thing that really impressed me is I know from, again, here in Hamilton County, we have schools that for students who maybe get in trouble, they are sent to those schools and then returned back to where they were. This school sort of is like what I would call starting over, where you come into a situation and it isn't, I'm going to be here for a couple of weeks or a couple of months. You're going to be here, and this is where you're going to make friendships. You're going to be mentored. You're going to learn. You're going to build your character traits and things like that. And it's really trying to hopefully give young people who have maybe gone off track a little bit an opportunity to get back on track and really have a productive life. And if in fact they are able to show and demonstrate that they can really make a dent in this chronically absentee issue, I think I'd stand up and just applaud them for what they're doing. And how do we take that then and maybe translate that to some of our other schools, not just our charter schools, but other schools in general. I was pleasantly surprised as I learned more about this, saw the leadership team that's in place, saw the financial model where they've got almost all their funds set up for the first 2 years to operate. And so I really, in this case, I agree with the recommendation that our executive director has made. I think this is innovation too. And I'm glad to see that we're going to be one of those states and across the whole country that takes the opportunity to step out and look into and start up an opportunity school. And again, let me just thank Terrence for helping me get focused and learn more about this. So thank you, Chair Richards.
Thank you. Commissioner.
Carter. Thanks, Madam Chair. Appreciate it. Last name is Carter.
Yeah, that's what well, I'm sorry. My mic is not doing well.
It's okay. We'll forgive you. I'll forgive you. You know, when I first, so let me share with the body that the first thing that came to mind when, in fact, saw information on the rock is the thought: be careful what you ask for. You know, for someone who, again, who's been a co-founder of a charter school for almost 20 years, this is a unique, special group. I can't tell you about challenges that, in fact, I've experienced firsthand, and listening to students who are at risk, who, in fact, have chronic absenteeism, come from really challenging backgrounds. You know, these are kids that many times, again, just you wonder how they survive. You know, being in foster homes or coming to school where they're living out of their car with their parent. You know, this is that group. So, Dr. White, my hat's off to you and your team. I don't want to rehash what you've already read and what you will hear from other commissioners and what our executive director said. What I do want to speak to, again, is the issue of, again, you know, looking in the eye as I was watching these capacity interviews, being there when they had their public hearing. And what I saw across the board, particularly from the team as well as the board, was I saw real synergy. You know, again, you can check off the box: academics, financials, operations. You heard that from Tess. You heard that from what you read. But what I saw was, again, a real synergy among board members and staff in terms of taking on this very difficult population. So I support Tess's recommendation. And Dr. White, at the end of the day, we want you to win. We want you and the staff to win. Again, be careful what you ask for, because you've asked for a challenging situation and wanting to make a difference in young people's lives that you're going to serve. And we're pulling for you. Madam Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner Lehrman. I think you're muted. I'm sure you've got comments, but I can't hear you. Okay, well, while we try to sort that out, I'll move on to Commissioner Levine and then come back.
I agree with everything that's been said. And I look forward to voting for this.
Okay. Commissioner Patterson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I don't have anything to add other than to say super excited to see the opportunity school concept really coming into light in the state of Tennessee, and really excited to be supportive of this particular application. So I don't have anything further.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Eddie Smith.
All right, somebody call Terrence an ambulance, because here comes the shortest comment you'll ever hear from me. I agree with Tess.
Yep, we better get an ambulance. Okay, Commissioner Lauren Smith.
I don't have a lot to add. Just excited to support this application and want to go on the record saying it was one of the best capacity interviews I've ever watched. So just want to applaud the team for all the work they've done and excited to see you guys get started. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Lehrman, I'm going to come back to you and see if we can get you on the audio. I don't have him at all. Okay, well, I'll go on. My comments are very short. There are two things about this application. I was probably the most concerned because it is the first opportunity charter school application that we've seen, and it is a very different animal. It is the heart of innovation because I think it takes tremendous bravery to be willing to undertake work with
All right,
one
Commissioner
of the
Richards, I
hardest.
think my mic is fixed now.
Oh, okay. Well, let you get started because we've got you. Please proceed, Commissioner Lehrman.
I apologize. Something just a technical issue just affected the access. I just wanted to say briefly that it's both a really noble mission that the school has put forward, but also the capacity interviews and support seem quite strong. So I'm inclined to support, obviously pending hearing for further comments.
Okay, thank you. Like I was saying, I think it takes bravery to undertake this kind of work with such a challenging population. But there were two things about this application that made me feel very comfortable, and one has already been noted. This is not a school where they're expecting these students to enroll and be there for a short period of time. They are committing to staying with them and creating a world where even if they are relocated due to family issues or foster care issues or whatever issues might cause them to be relocated, they will have a school home and the school support to let them know that they do have a place where they belong. And I just think that's a very important part of being successful with this population. The other thing, the application, I've watched both the capacity and the interview and the public hearing, and I was incredibly impressed with the leadership, the multiple avenues of support. It's not just mentorship. It's not just support as far as making sure they have access to transportation or help with other responsibilities that they have. It is an across the board holistic support. So I think this has good prospects. And of course, it sounds like everybody wants to go ahead and see them succeed, which is what we do when we authorize charters. So that's the end of my comments. With that, I'm going to go ahead and ask for a motion to adopt the resolution to overturn the denial of the Rock Academy, and then we'll have an opportunity for discussion. Does anyone want to make that motion?
Madam Chair, so moved.
Thank you, Commissioner Carter. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, thank you. I'm not quite sure who that was.
Eddie Smith.
Eddie,
Really?
okay.
Come on.
It was Alan.
Oh, it's so used to
Okay.
hearing my voice, you don't even know when I speak anymore.
Well, we're not going to say anything about that. Okay, opportunity for discussion. Does anyone want to add any further comments or discussion about this appeal? Okay, hearing none. Hayden, will you please take a roll call vote?
Commissioner Carter,
Aye.
Commissioner Griscom,
Aye.
Commissioner Lehrman,
Aye.
Commissioner Levine,
I want to know how Patterson's going to vote first. Yes, the answer is yes.
Commissioner Patterson,
Yes.
Commissioner Eddie Smith,
I don't care how Terrence votes yes.
Commissioner Lauren Smith,
Aye.
Chair Richards.
Aye.
Madam Chair, you have 8 ayes.
Okay, thank you very much. The motion is approved and the resolution is adopted. So that overturning of that decision will stand. Thank you, Executive Director Stovall, for your recommendation. Okay, unless someone else has comments, I want to thank our appellate schools, Metro Nashville Public Schools, and our staff for all their hard work during this appeal process. I also want to thank all the public commenters for participation in this. I also, once again, want to reach out to the Forge, and I know they've heard our collective comments. We hope we see you again. We think you have a model that has a tremendous future, and we want to get it in shape so it can succeed. So don't be strangers. The
right.
next meeting of the commission will be October 16th and 17th to hear the remaining appeals. Are there any final comments from commissioners before I entertain a motion to adjourn?
I would just echo your comments regarding the Forge, and I don't know what kind of support the Public Charter Commission can provide to the Forge in the intervening period, but to the extent that it is customary for it to do so to help the Forge get its application in a better spot for the next go round, I certainly would support that.
And Chris, if I could, I'm
Yeah.
going to take a little different approach. I honestly hope we don't see the Forge back here because I hope their application is so well that it's approved by Metro Nashville and there's no reason for them to have to come to us on appeal.
Well said. I appreciate that alternative would be a good one.
So with that,
Any
I'll
oth-
make the motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay. All right. Hayden, please call the roll.
Hayden doesn't want to adjourn. He's just wanting to leave us all sitting here.
This is a bad place for us to have a technical difficulty.
Okay, so how about this? Eddie Smith
I
votes
got
yes.
I'm back. My headphones gave out at the last second. Commissioner Carter,
Aye.
Commissioner Griscom,
Aye.
Commissioner Lehrman,
Aye.
Mr. Levine,
Aye.
Commissioner Patterson,
Yes.
Commissioner Eddie Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Lawrence Smith, Chair Richards.
Aye.
Chair, the ayes prevail.
Thank you. Thank you all, everyone. We will see you in Nashville in October. Thank you so much to our staff, Tess, and everyone who worked on this. And Pam, thank you for your help with this call and getting us through this as a virtual meeting. I really appreciate it. Thank you all.
Thank
See
you very much.
soon.
Take
Yep.
care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.